gentlemen, it's time for the Mystery Hour from the historic Gillioz Theatre. And now here is your host, Mystery Jeff Houghton!
It's 34 degrees, not 32. If you're watching at home, you might remember the ice storm. That didn't happen. Thanks for joining us. How are you guys doing here? Good? Yes. We have a great show for you guys tonight. It's a real treat. Louise Harrison is here, George Harrison's sister, who's an amazing woman in her own right. She's here. We also have the music of J.J. Blevins. And we have a great title sponsor, OTC. Jeff Houghton here at OTC, and today we're playing everyone's favorite game show, OTC Trivia. What does OTC stand for?
Ozark Technical Community College.
If they were to rename it but keep the OTC, what do you think it should be called?
OTCC or OTC squared?
Because there are two C's.
Yeah.
What about over there, Carl?
I like that one.
If they were to change it but keep the letters OT and C, what would you want to rename it to?
One of those colleges.
One of those colleges.
Ozark's Taco College.
Ozark's Taco College?
Yeah.
Otters teach classes?
Sure.
Yeah. Show folder. Boop. You know what I love is a crowd after it's been horrible weather, because you're just ready to bust out of the confines of the fear of little pellets of ice. Speaking of fear, a very fearful guy over here, Dave Smith. That's it? Okay.
They clap for me, and then, you know, usually the clap dies down, and I say something interesting, and then it goes back to you, and we do things I've noticed. It's not broken, don't fix it, right?
Yeah, but what you just said is now usually we talk for a second, or you say something.
Right.
Now we are.
Right.
But
right.
I felt like that was awkward.
Right. So we're on track.
We're okay.
It's gonna be a good show.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Let's do things I've noticed.
These things I've noticed. These things I've noticed, yeah.
Yeah.
These things I've noticed.
Oh.
These things I've noticed, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. These are things I've noticed, things I've observed. I've noticed that people interested in racing cars should be called the Fast and the Curious. I've noticed that nothing says, this is our second time doing this, like a beach wedding. It's not mean, it's just an observation. I've noticed that I'm only a great singing voice away from being a wonderful lead singer. I've noticed that the word palindrome should be a palindrome. Immordlet hap is not palindrome. I've noticed that I'd like everyone to know that I myself received numerous participation trophies as a child, and I'm proving their point. And finally, I've noticed that there are very few advertisements on Commercial Street. Things I've noticed.
Things I've noticed. These things I've noticed.
All right. Well, I imagine a lot of you out there work. That unintentional pause made it sound accusatory. I imagine a lot of you guys work. Jerry. Anyway, we can all relate to different things about work because it's true no matter where you work. And so we made a video about one aspect of that we thought you guys would like. Check it out.
So what do you want for lunch today?
I don't know. I want to do something different. Tacos? It is Tuesday.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it's time to eat, baby. Let's have some lunch. Yeah, Mother Luncher, it's time to eat. See the name on the dish, it's Mother Luncheon Peach. You can have your Chili's, your Applebee's. I'ma sit in this Honda with the food upon my knees. It's my time, where I can be myself. Don't worry about Ron or no one else. I can sit in quiet, play some old CDs. It's my Mother Luncheon house, I'll do what I please.
Don't look at me, don't feel sorry for me. It's a me time. Lunch in my Mother Luncheon car.
Dripping oil on my khakis, man, I don't care. Rockin' business casual with accidental flair. All the others tick-tocking while the clock is clocking. Took me 10 steps and I'm inside plotting. Might take a nap or just rest my eyes. It's my version of a corporate downsize. Got glass walls and a set of keys. It's my Mother Luncheon house, I'll do what I please.
Don't look at me, don't feel sorry for me. This is me time. Lunch in my Mother Luncheon car.
Digging a day, yo. I heard the lunch bell ring. Shift my appetite auto, gastro, grab my ketchup, ring.
My meals is on wheels, appetite for seclusion. Diss my bento box and your apples be bruising. I drive a mean cuisine, interior sprinkled in salt.
I cater lunch in a limousine or a Chevy Cobalt.
Hot sun in the windshield warms up my lunch meat.
In emergency situations, leftovers are found underneath my seat.
Saving cash money, yo.
I eat my meals solo.
Cause hey, YOLO.
Yeah, you only eat lunch once a day.
My vehicle's culinary.
My taste solitary.
Yeah, soy.
Yeah, soy.
Putting on my dipping sauce that I ate with my nuggies. Take a look at me, man, I'm a Mother Luncheon thuggy. Lunchtime is over, they've been gabbing out their mouth holes. I'm walking back feeling scented like a console.
Don't look at me, don't feel sorry for me. This is me time. Lunch in my Mother Luncheon car. This is my house.
Don't look at me.
Lunch in my Mother Luncheon car.
Yeah. Try to get that song out of your head. We'll be right back with Louise Harrison. Stay where you are.
That comedy bit brought to you by Bush, Ramlow, and Shore, CPAs, accountants. Funny.
Guest booking provided by Big Salad.
It's hard to keep this straight. Hey, we have a great guest tonight, but we also have a great guest sponsor. Pop! MissouriTrafficTickets.com. If you get a ticket, just click it. Never been an applause break for that. Our guest tonight is just a wonderful treasure that we have her around the area, that we get to have her here. She is known as being George Harrison's sister, but she's so much more than that. Please put your hands together for Louise Harrison. Come on out, Louise. Let's go this way. Follow me this way. You step up. There you go.
We go.
Got it.
Are there any Beatle fans here?
I think there are some Beatle fans here.
Yeah, in that case, I'm amongst friends, okay?
Yeah.
Great, okay.
We're getting some wonderful feedback back there. Speaking of feedback, I bet you get great feedback all the time because you are connected to this piece of history that, like, is a piece of history that's not up in our that's not in our heads, but it's like in our hearts. Everyone feels connected.
Yeah.
And do you find that people feel connected to you?
Oh, very much so, yes. Well, just about everybody that's ever met me treats me like a friend, and I usually am a friend, so that's just the way it goes, you know. Everybody looks at me with that affection that they have for my brother George, and so I look at them back with love and hug as many people as I can. In fact, we started something about a few years ago, just about after my brother died. He had given me a hug one time and he said, "Pass it on." And so I started, after he died, giving people a Harrison hug and saying, "Pass it on." And the funny thing that happened was, after I'd been doing this for a few years, I got a text from somebody and they said, "I got a Harrison hug for my birthday that you had given to somebody in Cleveland in 2005. And then another lady texted me or emailed me and said, "I live in Argentina and I have now given my Harrison hug to people in 18 different countries." So the Harrison hug is circulating around the world, and my brother's love is going around the world. So if I hug anybody tonight, then be sure and pass it on, okay? Yeah. Okay.
And that seems fitting for the Beatles' legacy, and also just for who you are as such a warm person. And I think we met several years ago.
Well, you know, if you'd met me earlier, about 20 or 30 years earlier, you'd have said a hot person.
Yeah? Can I?
Well, you know, there's a picture of me on the back of my book.
Uh-huh.
That was taken in do you still have it? That was taken in 1963.
Yeah.
See the picture?
You guys zoom in on that?
Oh, okay.
There it is. Yes. No,
you're looking.
Right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say hot.
Okay. See, I wasn't always 85.
I think that you're a gorgeous woman. I'd feel uncomfortable saying to an 85-year-old, "You're hot, lady."
Well, yeah, you would.
It would make me feel uncomfortable. So we met several years ago, you have so many great stories, and the one that I tell over and over is how you were living in the United States before the Beatles broke, and it was just your kid brother's band.
Yeah.
And what were you doing at that time to help your brother out?
Yes, my mother started sending me the singles as they were coming out. You know, "Love Me Do" and "Please Please Me" and "I Want to Hold Your Hand." And so my mum, I have to preview this by saying that my mum is the kind of person that if my brother had been in a band and they were having fun, she would have just said to me, you know, writing a letter, said, well, you know, he's in a little band and they're having a lot of fun. But that's not what she said. When she wrote to me about them, she said, he's in a band and they are absolutely terrific. Now, for my mum to say that, I knew that they must be terrific. So when she started sending me their records over here, I had just moved into the United States in March of 1963. And so I started going around the radio stations in the area, well, actually within a 200 miles of where I was living. I was living in Benton, Illinois. And so it was not too far from St. Louis. Mm-hmm. So I was going to all the radio stations and taking these records, and I was saying, you see, I couldn't have used the word Beatles back then because everyone would have thought I was an exterminating company, you know? So I just said, oh, this is my kid brother's band in England, and they're #1 in England, and, you know, maybe you'd like to be playing the records. And a few of the people, they played the record, and they said, oh, nobody would want to listen to that, you know. And then the other thing that was happening to me was they were, you know, in those days, there weren't many women that did anything at all other than, you know, have babies and cook the food. But I was going around and asking to see the program director, going into the radio stations, and they were looking at me like, why aren't you at home ironing your husband's shirts? So it was a kind of a bit of a struggle for me to get anywhere with this. And so I started writing to their manager, Brian Epstein, and also to Dick Martin, who's the publisher, and George Martin. So Dick James, I'm sorry, and George Martin. So I was writing to all of them, and they were sending me more materials and information and everything. Mm-hmm. And I have letters, actually, one of them in my book, that says from Brian Epstein, I'd be very grateful for anything you can do to help me. And by the way, I'm taking the liberty of sending you some of my other stars as well, to see if you can do anything for them. And my mum was really mad about that. She was really angry. She said, why is he telling you to go and promote his other stars? Just concentrate on your brother.
And it wasn't much longer. All of a sudden, they're on Ed Sullivan, and they didn't just break in the States. They went huge immediately.
Yes, yes. Well, you know, I had advised Brian to try to get them on one of the top record companies. There was Columbia, RCA, and Capitol back in those days were the big three. And so I said, you know, I realized that going into the radio station with a record in my hand wasn't getting me anywhere because there was a lot of payola going on in those days. And so I wrote to him and said, you know, get on one of the top 3 record companies, you know, somebody that's got some clout behind them. So he tried to get in touch with Capitol Records. I think they turned him down twice before they did finally take him on. And I had started getting in touch with them as well. And so by the time the Beatles did come over here in February, I had actually been talking to them on the phone quite a bit. And there was a guy by the name of Vito Samella who called me on the 9th of January, I can remember, 9th of January, 1964. And he told me, in 9 days since the Beatles record, I Want to Hold Your Hand, has been released, they have sold 1 million records. And so he called me personally to tell me that.
I hate to do this. We're out of time.
Oh, okay.
Because this is why you got to come to a show, because she's going to keep talking to the live audience. But if you want watching at home, you got to come to see a show sometime. We got to payola people right now and have commercials run. We'll be back in a little bit.
Guest travel and accommodations provided by Hotel Vandervoort. Musical guest brought to you by Bryan Properties.
All right. We've been talking music. Now we get to hear from a great musician. Please put your hands together for J.J. Blevins.
see you on the other side. Let me see you on the other side. That old line. Phone rings, and I can hear it in your voice. Come on home, child. You know there isn't any other choice. His heart is beating fast, and his mind is getting slow. Won't you come on in, baby, before we have to let him go? Won't you take me on way back home to that old home line, where the memories never fade, and you step back into time. I'll see you on the other side. I'll see you on the other side. And that old home line. Won't you take me on home? Won't you take me on home? And I just wanna go home. Won't you take me on home? To that old home line. The clouds part, and I can feel it in the air. I looked across the line, I saw a figure standing there. He smiled right at me and said, boy, you're not alone. I'll be right here waiting when you start back heading on. Won't you take me on way back home to that old home line, where the memories never fade, and you step back into time. I'll see you on the other side. And see you on the other side. And that old home line. Won't you take me on home? Won't you take me on home? And I just wanna go home. Won't you take me on home to that old home line?
That's all right. J.J. Blevins, the hot Louise Harrison. 10% of our box office proceeds tonight go to the Fairbanks. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week.
Big Whiskey's the official caterer of the Mystery Hour.